The time has come to reinvigorate and reinvent wildlife conservation for the 21st century.
The environment needs a charismatic champion, a Martin Luther King or a Nelson Mandela, for example, with the power to inform, motivate, and involve the public in this issue. We need, in my opinion, a new conservation movement.
We need to change course, and we need to start inherently valuing wildlife for what it is. It has an inherent value of its own, and we really need to have a leave it alone philosophy and need to change, I think, the exploitation formula to say, if you have to show a reason why you need to exploit it, as opposed to now for showing a reason why you shouldn't.
The collapse of a resource like a fish stock, is extremely painful economically and socially. We know that again and again. But getting into a position to allow it to recover is even more painful, and socially and economically. So we have to prevent any further depletions in any case. And this means being very precautionary in the way exploitation is allowed. The precautionary principle is a much misused phrase, but it's an incredibly important one, of being parsimonious about taking what we need, not what we can just make profit from.
If one were to take a truly precautionary approach to the management of our fisheries, we would be doing everything that we could to ensure that these stocks recovered to what we might call ecologically meaningful levels of abundance. And those things are always difficult to ascertain, but they're not impossible. And indeed, since we don't know what the precise consequences of some of these things are, then precaution ought to be the route that we're taking, but it clearly isn't.
In my work with fishermen and fishing communities, I find that there is a deep and natural understanding of ecosystem-based science. And people are happy to work at a community level to try to solve these problems. So in one sense, I'm optimistic. I'm pessimistic in that we've done very wrong things in the past, but I'm optimistic that people will in fact respond positively to the new science.
You see, this ecological sustainability, now we believe in a dynamic model in which the elephants themselves manage their habitat and manage their numbers in a cycle in which rains play a part, weather plays a part, and the elephants play a major part.
We need to make sure that our activities, especially in terms of wasting the soil away in erosion, or by intervening chemically, by adding materials that would not be there naturally, we need to make sure that we do as little as that as possible, and if we do in fact do those things, we need to know how to clean them up.
And if we the people, enough of us, roll up our sleeves, vote, take action, finally maybe we can vote into power those people who do care and who will be prepared to make the tough measures necessary because they know they've got more than 50% of the electorate behind them. So you can't point only at politicians. We put them there.
We need to identify new approaches if we are to gain ground in wildlife and habitat conservation.
I think the world is becoming a smaller place, and things that you do in different parts of the world affect animals in other parts of the world. In Sanskrit, there's a saying, Vasudeva Kutumpakam, which means the world is a family. And I think it is more true now than ever, when the world needs to act in unison together to try and protect some of these last species and habitats that we have.
If we're making calls to protect that wildlife, then we have a responsibility to provide the resources to enable that to happen. Because wildlife is a world heritage. It's like art. It's not, it may live in Kenya or in Congo or in Tanzania, but like art, it belongs to all of us, and we are the stewards of this wildlife. So we have an obligation to make the resources available to protect it.
It is not necessary to depend upon killing to feed ourselves or clothe ourselves. But if that destruction continues, and the compassion was what we should show to other weaker sections of the human race itself, and we don't show to other species, in that process we destroy the human race as well.
And it's not that it affects other people, it affects us and our children and our grandchildren. So get informed, get involved, and play a part to help change the course of human history.
The impossible is never impossible if enough good people with like mind and energy and determination get together and don't give up. That's the key thing. That's the main message of our youth program, and what I say to myself every day: you must never give up. There's always another day, and you just have to do your best.